Welcome to my end of summer book haul. These are the books that I've essentially collected from about the end of May to now, so May to September, which is a lot of months, and I've only have 9 books to show you, so I'm very proud of myself. I've got a couple of classics, I've got a non-fiction and just random books really to show you lots, so hopefully you enjoy these. Just a side note, I can't see a thing out of these new glasses, not an actual thing. They're so dirty. I'm going to start with the book that I actually got first, and this was a pre-order and it came while I was away, so I got it in kind of July time, and it's The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. If you live in the UK, this is in every single Waterstones there is. You walk in and it's directly there in front of you on display, and why not? It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a stunning piece of publishing. The inside is my favourite as well. This is a piece of historical fiction set in Amsterdam. I've never read anything in Amsterdam before, so I'm really excited to. As you can see, I've already kind of started reading it. I'm not very far in. It is set in 1686 and centres around a protagonist called Nella. She's 18 and she has married this trader, and she goes and lives with him, but he has this very horrible sister that she has to deal with, and he makes her this miniature house that mirrors their real life counterparts in unexpected ways. That's what the blurb says anyway. It's been a while since I've read historical fiction, so I'm just really looking forward to getting back into it, and I think this is a great place to start. The next book I was recommended indirectly by Rose, but she wrote a blog post about books that transport you to other countries, other places, and she mentioned this one and it got me immediately excited. It's called Evelina by Isabel Allende, and it's a series of short stories. Sean Connery. It's a series of short stories set in South America, and that just sounds really different, something I've never really tried before. I've never read a story set in that location before. I'm told it kind of takes place in Peru and Brazil and Ecuador and things like that, so I'm really looking forward to giving it a try, and this edition again is absolutely gorgeous, part of the Penguin Essentials editions, and I love it, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Pretty short, so hopefully I'll be able to get through it pretty quick. The next book is actually one that I've already read, which is very rare for my book haul. It's Wild by Jay Griffiths. It's essentially the author's story of her travels around the world, and I love reading travel books like that. They just really interest me. I really like reading and watching, really, people travelling. I think it just gives me a really good sense of adventure and makes me want to go out there myself. I'm going to read the blurb because I don't feel like I can do this book justice by explaining it, so I'm just going to read the blurb. I took 7 years over this work, spent all I had, my time, money and energy. Part of the journey was a green riot and part a deathly bleakness. I got ill and I got well. I went to the shamans in the Amazon for the hallucinogenic medicine and went to freedom fighters of West Papaya to sing my head off in their highlands. I met cannibals infinitely kinder than the murderous missionaries who evangelized them. I anchored a boat to an iceberg where polar bears slept, ate witchetty grubs and visited sea gypsies. I found a paradox of wildness in the glinting softness of its charisma, for what is savage is in the deepest sense gentle, and what is wild is kind. In the end, a strangely sweet result. I came back to a wild home. And breathe. This book explores what it is to be home, why we travel to feel a sense of home, I suppose. You know, what's the point in travelling to other countries? Is it to experience different cultures? Is it to remind ourselves how comfortable we are in our own environment? She also looks at the elemental aspect of it, and her writing style is absolutely beautiful. Every sentence I wanted to just stop and just like take awe of the sentence. It was gorgeous. And definitely give it a go if you are wanting to get into travel reading or want to read more travel non-fiction. Definitely want to check out. The next book is by an author that I wanted to read for quite a while. I've read one of her books called The Magic Toy Shop and really enjoyed that one, so I picked this one up, and it's called Burning Your Boats, which is a collection of short stories. I've been meaning to get The Bloody Chamber for ages, and I saw this one in a charity shop and I got it because it includes The Bloody Chamber and loads more stories. Really excited to check this out. I know she's quite a popular author, so like I say, I'm just very excited to try it. Yeah, if anybody has read Angela Carter, If anybody's read Angela Carter, then please let me know what you think of her. I'm going to tie my hair back because every time I have my hair down in a video I just play with it all the time. So the next book I have to show you is called The Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood. Again, an author that I've been wanting to read for so long, and I have now 2 of her books. I really want to get Elias Grace as well, because I feel like she's an author that I'm going to absolutely love, but I haven't read any of her books yet. This is a really nice length one. It's very short and it's a retelling of a Greek myth, and I really enjoy Greek mythology. I like learning about it, I like reading it, so I'm really excited to try a kind of modern retelling of it. If any of you are big Margaret Atwood fans, then please let me know like what book to start with, because I have this one and The Handmaid's Tale, and like I say, I really want Elias Grace as well, so let me know what you think. Which book should I read to kind of be introduced to her writing style? That's a good question. The next 2 are classics. Oh god, falling over. The next 2 are classics that I've been wanting for a while. The first one, again, I got second hand in brilliant condition. There's something to be said for charity shops, there really is. And it's Dracula by Bram Stoker. I am not fully aware of what goes on in this classic. I obviously vampires and things like that, but apart from that I don't know the main character or anything like that. Like usually with classics, even if you haven't read them, you know the gist, you know like Mr. Rochester and stuff like that, but I don't know anything about this really. I know that some of it takes place in Whitby, which I'm quite excited about because I live about an hour away from Whitby. I go there all the time. It's a really lovely seaside place, and it's the birthplace of Dracula, and every time I go there's always like Dracula museums and small bookshops selling loads of different editions of Dracula, and I'd love to be able to go and be like know that I've read the book and enjoyed the book. It's going to be also really nice to read the book and know where he's talking about. It's always nice to read a book that's set in your kind of area, so I'm really excited. Vampires isn't really my usual thing, but I do love a good kind of horror classic. I love Frankenstein, it's one of my favourite books ever. You know, Jekyll and Hyde is another really good one, so I'm really looking forward to giving this a go, maybe around Halloween time, who knows. The next classic I have is another short one, and it's Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote. And I said, what about Breakfast at Tiffany's? I really want to see the film, but I thought before I see the film, I want to read the book as well. And like I say, very short. It's set in New York in the 1940s and centres around Audrey Hepburn. So yeah, very excited to start this. And then the final 2 books I have is, well, one of them is The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. Sarah Waters is an author that I've been wanting to read for the longest time. It's set in post-war Warwickshire, and it centres around a family who go to an old mansion, and it's basically their lives. I don't really know how the war fits in with it. I don't know if it's a big part of the book or just, you know, the setting of it, I'm not sure. I assume it's going to feed in a little bit, but I'm really excited. I actually bought this second hand as well, and it's in absolutely pristine condition, so I was absolutely thrilled about that, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. And then the final book, sorry if I'm rushing through these by the way, I haven't had breakfast yet and I'm really hungry, so I feel like I'm talking fast to get this video done so I can go and have something to eat. The final book is actually one I have to read for my final year of uni. It's for my contemporary fiction module, and it's called The Hours by Michael Cunningham, and I don't actually start uni well, like October, but I bought this one in advance because I really liked the sound of it and really wanted to read it soon. It's set in 3 different time periods, in the 1920s, 1940s and 1990s. In the 1920s it centres around Virginia Woolf and when she is trying to write Mrs. Dalloway. In the 1940s it centres around a young wife who is kind of sick and tired of her life in suburban Los Angeles, and she's given a copy of Mrs. Dalloway. And then in 1990s New York, it's centered around a woman called Clarissa who is trying to host a party for a dying friend. It centres mostly around the lives of these 3 different women, and kind of feeds the themes of Mrs. Dalloway in there. Really looking forward to this one. I read Mrs. Dalloway last year. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was like the best book in the world, but I did enjoy it. I definitely enjoyed it more on a second read. It's very short as well, so that's nice. But yeah, I really quite liked it, so I really wanted to give this one a go. So maybe once I've read this one, I will maybe do a collective review of The Hours and Mrs. Dalloway, if that's what you want to see.